Good evening. Welcome to the City of Sunbury Events and Commemoration meeting. Today is October 21st. It is 5:30 p.m. If we could get a roll call, please, Ms. Swain. Here?
Here.
Okay. And I think Mr. will be here. She'll just be late. So we will go ahead and start since we have a quorum. And I will make a motion on the minutes from September 16th, 2025.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
2 yeas, motion passes.
Thank you. Moving on to unfinished business, we have the decision-making matrix follow-up. And I believe that is separate from our packet, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're actually gonna start with the policy on packet page 6. With the special event permit policy.
Okay.
Just a few changes since the last time we brought these documents to to the committee. Most of it is just changing the language around, making sure they align across the board. For the policy, we did include J.R. Smith Park for the rentals of shelter houses. And then on package page 7, under approved road closures, we broke those up into the formatting to make it a little bit easier to read. We also included the segment of North Miller Drive from the Big Walnut High School Access Drive to Myers Drive as part of the approved road closures for special events. We also added in language that the organizations and the city may consult with other organizations and associations, including ODOT, regarding new requests for road closures. And if a proposed road closure impacts a state route, then a permit will need to be required. So added more language regarding those. For the general fee.
Yeah, would just add that I think what we're trying to do here is clarify, when a pre-approved road closure exists so that we're not bringing them back to council every time for.
Okay. I was gonna ask you, what is that?
Yeah.
Pre-approved, because they still have to go through the permit process.
Right.
It just doesn't have to go all the way to council.
Right. And so when you look at the matrix, you'll see that it's some things that you'll see events and you'll think, well, there's a road closure attached to that. If that doesn't go to council, well, it doesn't go to council because it's been pre-approved in the policy.
Okay.
So
these are the ones that we've approved every year for existence. Yep. Okay. Thank you for that.
And then on package page 8, under the general fee schedule, we updated the special duty officer police rates. I spoke with Deputy Chief Wade regarding these. So changes are $55 per hour for a minimum of 3 hours for nonprofit organizations, $65 an hour, minimum of 3 hours for a for-profit organization, and then $10 per hour if a marked cruiser is requested.
Were these increased?
Yes. Yep. These are for 2025. And the reason the effective date is X'd out right now, that'll go in once this is approved by council.
Okay.
So those are already in place with the police department.
Okay.
And then also just added language about higher officer rates if it's on the events on a holiday, cancellations. If it needs to be canceled, it has to be, I believe it's 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour prior to the scheduled start time. And also included the email address for all cancellations to be made to regarding that.
And when an event organizer needs special duty police officers, there's a process that the staff helps them with for that.
Then on package page 11, one of the other recent updates again is just stating that permits may be necessary, including right-of-way permits, any ODOT permits if applicable. And just added on package page 13 for power on the square, just letting the event organizer know that the supplemental AC power request form That needs to get distributed to vendors. The vendors need to fill that out, give it to the event organizer, and the event organizer will present those request forms to city staff to review 4 weeks prior to the event, just to make sure there's enough electricity for everyone. And that's also outlined in that form, which we'll go over later. So those were the latest updates for the policy. Is there any questions on the policy?
No.
And then moving on to the special event permit application on package page 14. We added in that city staff in consultation with the chair of the Sunbury Events and Commemorations Committee may waive the application review period and seek immediate approval of a permit by majority vote of Sunbury City Council at a regular or special meeting.
So we had something like that. I mean, I think that was kind of our practice, that if somebody didn't get it within the 60-day window, and you couldn't get it in front of the events committee or the parks committee or whomever needed to see it, that there's this other option to kind of fast track something if we needed to.
And this is not for an event that would be like similar events we've had in the last couple of weeks of like protests and stuff. That is a completely different thing. So this is for an event that a group wants to hold and they just didn't get it in time. Okay. And what I mean by that is we are not stopping protests and vigils and things like that, is what I mean. Okay.
On packet page 18, we just added language that any event requiring a temporary service meter, they must secure a permit and inspection from Delaware County Building Safety Department prior to the event. Also added in the language again regarding the supplemental AC power request form, and that vendors must fill those out and it must be submitted to staff. Under food and beverage on packet page 19, we just added in phone numbers to make it easier for event organizers to contact regarding inspections, permits for any of their food trucks. That is all for the application. Were there any questions with that one?
I think this reads easier. Did you change like the lines and spacing too? It reads easier to me.
Yeah, they all went under massive like formatting.
Yeah,
So it's just
that's formatting is the word I was looking for. Thank you.
And then on package page 24, we have the supplemental AC power request form. So again, this formatting was different. We added that it must be filled out by the vendor, submitted to staff no later than 4 weeks prior to the event. We encourage early submission. Permits and inspections are required by Delaware County Building Safety. We also added silent generators instead of just generators in general. So it was mainly just cleaning up the wording and making it easier to read. So that is the supplemental AC power request form. And lastly, we have the decision-making matrix, and that is going to be the separate handouts. There was some updates that were made to it after we printed the packet. Mainly the changes that we made to this one was we changed the symbols around. So you'll see the little up arrow caret symbol. That is means that approval is required when an event will substantially limit the use of the facility by others for more than 6 hours and is attended by more than 50 participants. So instead of having a grayed out X, we just had it under.
Right. So that's the way that it's noted on the matrix. But the important point here is it actually changed the standard, right? Because the old standard was 4-hour event, 50 people. So now it's a 6-hour event, 50 people. Or no, it's 4 hours and 25 people. Now it's 6 hours and 50 people. So it's just, a little bit bigger.
We changed,
If they don't meet that, then that's approved through staff. It doesn't, that's the threshold for coming to this committee.
That's right.
yes.
Okay. So we can get more done with staff.
Mhm.
Then we also, removed the Easter egg hunt off the matrix as that event is less than 6 hours. We also removed field rentals and night events, since all night events that have previously come through the events committee has happened at Kinslow Disc Golf Course. We just added the language in the note section under Kinslow that if an event occurs outside of normal park hours, then it must go to council, since the ordinance states that parks close at dusk.
And could we, and sorry to stop you, I know I will forget it. Could we get an update at our events committee of just if there's any of note that you've approved, like the Easter egg hunt, like the bigger ones, like not like a discussion, but just like a list of the ones that have been
Like an
approved.
informational,
Yeah.
this is what we've received, this
Yeah,
is what we've
just a
approved.
heads
Yeah.
up, so we know also what's going on.
And then lastly, for the matrix, we also added another little symbol indicating if the event needs to go to council. So under type of event, at the very top, events on square with road closures, under other, we have it noted that only goes to council if the event is located on the square and the road closure is not on the pre-approved list. So those are the main updates on the matrix since the last time.
So when this goes into effect, something like the Christmas on the square will go to council because it's on the.
So no, it does not. So that's one of those that's pre-approved, right? So
I thought you said
on
it
the
was
square.
happening on the square,
So on the square with road closures,
but
they're,
not pre-approved. Goes to council.
it would be if something new happened, something else. Let's say we want to celebrate,
We bring back the fall festival.
we bring back the fall festival and we need to close streets.
Okay.
Yeah,
That-
that's exactly right. Yeah, because that event is new and closes streets and that's not been pre-approved by council. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have Christmas on the square outlined in the policy. It's on packet page 7 under pre-approved street closures for East Granville Street from South Columbus Street to South Vernon Street. Christmas on the square is listed as one of the following events that would be pre-approved.
Okay.
And it also says something about though, if there are parades associated with those events. How do we deal with that? I'm trying to remember. Because we did go back and forth a little bit on that one, because the event itself is covered. It's an event on the square that involves street closures around the square, pre-approved. A parade though clearly is, different, has different implications. So the 4th of July parade and Christmas on the square were the two. I'm trying to remember how, I think we tried to say, and a parade associated with one of those events. If it's an existing route, it's pre-approved. If it's a different route, that's coming to council.
So we've gone to council for road closures forever. So at some point, I don't know why that decision was being made. So has that been verified that we don't need to go to council for these road closures?
Yeah, when we went back to look at the matrix, some of those probably didn't need to go to council because they had already been approved as a pre-approved event with a street closure attached to it. But because we were, I just maybe not paying enough attention to the matrix, we'd forgotten that those got pre-approved. There is Sizzle though is one event that, the street closures are the same. It's self-contained on the square, but we do still have that one going to council because of the impact. I mean, just the size of it, the scale of that event and what have you. So, yeah.
I mean legally, like we have the authority to say when we're going to take things to council and when not. There's not a legal thing that we have to bring them to council for road closures. That's just the practice of what we've been doing.
So what we were relying on was that council had approved a policy that said, we agree that these events, if you have an event, it's on the schedule And we've talked about it in the policy. It doesn't have to go back to council for additional
Okay,
approval.
so if
But God
this
can-
will go to council, so if that's
That's right.
council saying, yes, we agree, it doesn't need to come to council.
Doesn't need to go back to council. Exactly. So, and, you know, it got a little bit confusing because, you know, the Big Nut Strut, of course, was changing its route. But we had a process in place for when somebody requests for a road closing related to a race, that would go to council.
Okay,
So
there's still going to be things going to.
there still will be, right, if there's a new event, it involves street closures, council's never heard about it before, that's gonna go to council.
This is meant to keep business going.
Yes.
With things that we've done for 50
Right.
years. Okay. All right. I missed that part about we were already operating under a policy. So this is changing that policy.
So that's why Alyssa had said, we will take, I mean, once we've kind of worked through the details here, we'll take it to council and council will, you know, we'll ask them to approve the amended, you know, special event.
It's also be on their OneDrives.
Yep.
And I'll
Yep.
talk about the changes in the committee meeting. Okay. All right.
So the way we, and just,
It feels like a big change. So I just want to make sure.
I know,
we're not
it does.
Council off.
I know. Well, and what I was going to say then is when we took this the first
No,
time.
but you know what I mean, though. Like, I don't, if we weren't on the committee and it just changed, I would want to just make sure
Yeah.
that someone told me about it.
So when we took this to council for the first time back in 22, I think is when we set the policies. We had it as an informational item for 2 or 3 meetings before we asked council to take action on it.
Okay.
And I would imagine we'll do something similar here. We'll just get it out there, have people start to
Tell them.
talk
hey,
a little bit about it.
Come back,
Yeah.
any questions, we're gonna be approving it at the next meeting. Okay. Okay, that makes me feel better.
Feels like it's a lot. I agree.
Okay, sorry about that.
All right, so maybe with that, what we'll ask, again, it's a lot here, not asking you to sign off on it. We'll bring it back to the next council meeting, or the next events committee meeting.
Yeah,
And if you feel comfortable at that point, we'll advance as a council.
and this is in your OneDrives too, under events. Your
Yeah.
events OneDrive, all this is in there, if you should misplace the paper. Okay, so that's the decision matrix follow-up and I guess the special event permit policy and application and the supplemental AC power request form.
Right.
Okay, so we just hit A, B, and C together, right? Okay,
Yes,
so
we
we're gonna move on to D, Community Partners Program Draft, which we have talked about before.
Yep.
Okay, and
So we
then,
talked about this, I think it was back in June. You asked me to go back and make some additional revisions to it. And now that we have a little clearer pricing on what's going to happen with J.R. Smith Park, I think I was able to update the contribution amounts to more closely reflect what the real costs are going to be. So there's not much that changes on the front page. You know, you can still be a volunteer partner, or you can volunteer through a financial contribution or through a volunteer process. That's still the same. Community event partners, again, that's where we will partner with Big Willamette Civic Association and other organizations when we're trying to raise money for a community event. That way it's not we're not, at odds with another organization when we're trying to raise funds. And then it gets down into the details of what we had talked about in the past. So if you want to support our parks, you can do it through a tree planting donation. This capital project partner just means you make a cash contribution of some sort and you get recognized on a plaque that's at wherever that capital project might be. In this particular case, could be J.R. Smith Park. So, this might be a plaque that gets mounted onto the shelter house. Thank you to our community partners who, blah, blah, blah. Bicycle rack, charcoal grill. I didn't know about this next one. Trash receptacle or dog waste station.
No, I might have $2,000.
Yeah.
My name on
I-
a dog waste station.
Right.
Maybe next election year.
I thought, are people going to want to have their name on a dog waste station? And I thought, well, maybe,
See that?
maybe, right? It's supporting
let's
dogs.
give them the option. Let's forcing anybody to do
Exactly.
it.
If we're not saying we're not gonna have one if you don't donate,
Right.
right?
Great. So anyway, yes.
Is that how much this stuff costs?
It does.
$1,000 for a bike rack,
Yeah.
$2,000 for a trash can
Yeah.
for,
I would
Yeah,
imagine we're talking a nice trash.
They're very solid. You know, they need to be able to
They made
withstand a lot.
Yes.
So,
okay.
yeah. All right, but the major amenity naming rights. So here I've clarified a little bit. In the sentence at the top, it says for donors wanting to leave a more lasting legacy or demonstrate major community leadership limited. And then I try to define. So in my mind, limited, not only is there a limit on the number of potential or assets in which you might be able to put your name on, but it's also limited to a 10-year window. I want people to understand that's what they're agreeing to.
That their name will be on there for
That their
10
name will
years.
be on there for 10 years. Now,
Okay.
council has to agree to anything that involves somebody's name on it. And
Okay.
it says that here,
Okay.
you know, that just because you give us the money doesn't mean your name's going to go on it. Council has to agree that it's consistent with, you know, fulfilling the spirit of, you know, what the city values, and that you're an organization that, you know, represents those values to the community as well. So, yeah, for example, and I'm not a criticism here, but if you were, you know, a medical marijuana dispensary, we may not want that, you know, on the kids' playground.
Sure.
You know, you'd say
Maybe.
no, maybe we wouldn't want that on the playground, right? We may not want that on
Maybe on the
any.
trash receptacle.
We might want it on the trash. There you go. See, now that's the kind of creative thinking we need. But yeah, but if they are, that's, you know, doesn't really fit the community standards, so.
Okay.
Okay, so with that as kind of the timeframe, then the amounts represent roughly what we think the useful life of the asset might be.
Okay.
So let's start with the shelter house. Let's go at the bottom.
Okay.
So $200,000, this is a shelter house with the restrooms. I mean, this is a, you know, a substantive one. It's going to cost $600,000 to build that.
Okay.
So basically, and it has a useful life of roughly 30 years. So three organizations could get their name on that for the life of it, right? Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that was the way to try to do it.
That
Now,
makes sense.
the splash pad, that's more of a 20-year life. So, and it's about a $350,000.
So you said let's-
Yeah. So playground, same type of thing. That's going to last, I think, 15 years as well. So 15, so this is a little more interesting. So this one, you got to do a little bit different math, right? Because it isn't a factor of 10. I mean, it could last 20 years, but you know, it's got about 1.5 lives in it. So it ends up being like $225,000 or something like that. So, and anyway, so that's kind of the way that the math was done.
Okay.
Some people might say, well, that number's way too high. That's not a long enough period to have my name on it to do it. I don't know. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe
We're trying. We can revisit this in a couple of years too.
exactly.
It's a great start.
Yeah, and given that we are, you know, about ready to put out the bid for J.R. Smith Park, you know, we want to make sure we get this out into the public space in some way. So at this point, I would ask the committee maybe to, not that I think we need you to bless it today, but I would like to start kind of socializing this with some others as well. Maybe we could take it to the finance committee meeting so we could have all of the council members see it and talk through it a little bit before we put it on, you know, any future agenda, and then say, okay, council, would you bless this program, if you will? I've also got to work through the legal counsel stuff as well, just to make sure. I mean, I know we can do the donation part. There may be some additional things we would want to add with respect to naming rights. So that I need
Yeah,
to have
that sounds
Kareem
good.
look through it.
Sorry, I
Yep.
didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt.
go ahead.
Has the approach to this with the pricing and everything, mirrored or resemble what other municipalities have done with similar naming rights then?
Yeah,
'Cause that's the biggest what if to me, and
Yeah.
will people see it as viable or not?
yeah. I tried. It's hard. There aren't a lot of communities that have a well-defined program. I've certainly seen, I've looked at other communities with donation program or donation policies and tried to build it off of that. So like I said, I'm not, it's the first time I've ever kind of worked through something like this. So yeah, I wish I could say that, oh yeah, I took a model.
That's all the time.
It would be great.
Other cities
Yeah.
might be coming to us and using ours.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
Theirs, so.
Yeah.
Well, it's something that I know Mr. Martin has asked for, and it's something that we can put it out there. If nobody picks it up, then we're already planning on funding it, so it's no problem, but it's
Right.
good to have it out there.
Exactly. And then the final sort of next to last paragraph there, customer memorial donations. I did add a little bit more around that. I included the donation of land or a building or something like that. If you were to donate something like that to the city, to just work with us on that. And, these are kind of, those will be one-offs, and obviously we'll work through the commemorations committee on those and, I guess figure out how to take them on as city assets if we want to do that. So. Okay. So, yeah, if you've got comments before the finance committee meeting, next finance committee meeting, let me know. Otherwise, I'll talk to Dana. We'll get it on there for that meeting. And
Which we just had one.
so we're still,
November.
a few weeks away from doing that. Yep. Okay, that's it.
Moving on to new business. Actually, one other thing under unfinished business, I was just curious if anybody had heard how the Big Nut Strut had gone. Okay, anybody here?
Have not.
No feedback, so no news is good news.
Yeah.
Okay. No major complaints about
Yeah,
our
I did
police or
get-
anything. Good. Okay, good. I know they had like gorgeous weather. Okay. New business, we have Christmas on the Square 2025. It looks like we have a representative from the chamber in the audience. If you wouldn't mind. Are you okay? Do we need to bring a microphone to you?
Is the mic on?
They need to turn it on.
Got it.
Okay. We're good.
I have faith in Nancy.
And we do have this permit in our packet, starts on page 28. Okay. Please state your name and your address and tell us what's going on for Christmas this year.
Nancy Crawford with the Big Walnut Chamber of Commerce, 39 East Granville, Sunbury. I'd like to say that this is the same as all the years past. However, we do have some big changes. We are going to have an iceless rink this year, and that is
Iceless rink?
an iceless rink. Yeah. Well, because we don't know what the weather is going to be like, so it's still ice skating. It's just a different material. I don't know. I'm not the expert. But it's going to be on Columbus Street. I have previously reached out to the staff, and we have secured road barriers to place at the end of Cherry and Columbus and Columbus and Granville to prevent any cars from going through. There will also be a fence around the ice skating rink. But what that means is that that section of Columbus Street will have to remain closed, not only for the entire event, but we're asking for a 24-hour timeframe from noon on the 6th until noon on the 7th, just because this company is coming from Columbus. They need a window of time to come and set up, and then we're not sure just when they will take it down. Other than that, parade, start at the library, come up Cherry, Columbus, Granville. We're actually going to end it essentially on the square. A lot of people are stopping and leaving the parade, and it was creating backup, a little bit of some congestion and concern. So rather than asking people, if you have a float or truck or need to go up to Burr, all the way back up to the library, you can, but we're asking people to, if you're walking, get on the sidewalk, or just be mindful of the fact that you won't have, how did we put it? The parade itself is over. So once you get to the corner here at Columbus and Granville, that's it.
Right. Yeah, it's basically the parade essentially is starting to disperse at that point anyway. So, if you were at that point, you could turn to the left, go to Columbus, and you're done. If you do continue on a Brewer, again, if you're driving a vehicle, fine, you're on a public road, it doesn't matter. But yeah, anybody who might be walking back to that point, we're just saying,
You
get
don't want
off the road at that
on
point.
the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and get off
Going
and
down
start walking.
Granville.
Yeah.
Okay.
There also might be a need for additional barriers just because of the road closures, and also hopefully this new parking lot on Columbus Street will be done. And we want to make sure that people aren't cutting
Yeah.
through. I believe we discussed putting a road barrier at Let's and Columbus so that people can turn there, instead of coming all the way up to the square and then finding out that they're stuck. Believe. Let's
Yeah,
is what
we, yeah. So trying to get some better signage, yeah, so people don't get up to this point and just kind of have to sit.
Just during the parade.
Just during the.
Just
Yeah. For the rest of the evening, prior and after, obviously that little section of Columbus will be closed, but that's it. Yeah, just during the parade, extra barriers.
What about parking on Columbus? That you'll won't have parking on Columbus? Okay, so
I
like
think the
over
hope
that
is that-
24 hours, you'll try to get them, you'll have signs up and stuff?
Yeah, we'll put restricted parking signs out and everything, and we'll go to the businesses and let them know what's going on, so.
Yeah.
Cause they'll wanna know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
they deserve to know. Okay.
Yeah, other than which we always ask for Granville, the square side to be closed for our food truck vendors, and then of course Columbus Street. But Cherry and Vernon will remain the same, and people are starting to sign up for the market parade, things like that. We haven't sent out our waivers yet, but unless something has changed, we are telling people they can park on Vernon and the parking on Columbus for the vendors that are going to be up here on the square. It's mostly churches. They come in early, they set up their tents. Same with the food truck vendors, they come in early. We've not had confirmation from everybody, but we've reached out to the same 4 or 5 that we've used the past few years, and we're hoping to maybe get a new one, maybe Wits. They indicated they might like to come and serve a cold treat. So hopefully we'll have an additional one, but that's still less than what Sizzle has or what we used to have for 4th of July. So Granville there should be more than enough room.
So you are, or you're not asking to close Granville?
No, we don't close
You don't
Granville.
close it.
Just
I
the
misunderstood.
parking on this side, on
Parking.
rear side,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, sorry, misunderstood you.
Yeah, sorry, and I don't know if I put that in here, the time. But usually we ask that the parking signs go up either sometime Friday evening or first thing Saturday morning so that the vendors can come in whenever it suits their needs.
Is there gonna be a charge for the ice skating?
No.
Do you have to bring ice skates, or do they have ice
Nope.
skates? They bring ice
This company
skates?
is providing ice skates. I do have a call into them to see if regular ice skates work so that we can tell people, hey, if you want to bring ice skates, because although they provide 40 pair, I have no idea how they determine what sizes and how that's going to work with folks. So I'm hopeful that regular ice skates work and people will just bring their own too.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, we got a sponsor for it, so it is free to the community.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very nice.
Yep.
Can you tell us the sponsor?
Absolutely. It's Amazon.
Wow,
Yeah.
that was a good one.
Yeah, we're pretty happy.
So, Dale, this brings up a question to me. Let's say this was happening next year and this is already a pre-approved event, but she's changing something major. How would we do that process?
Well-
We've never closed.
It would depend upon whether or not we've identified it as a pre-approved street closure. So
Okay.
whatever might be happening, Columbus is one of those streets we have actually closed in the past for Christmas on the Square.
Okay.
We used to have the horse-drawn
So we're
carriage.
just
Now
switching out horses for ice skating. Okay.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's happening on that street. The street is pre-approved for closure.
Pre-approved to close. And you said you've been talking to staff. You've also, I know you send it through, but you've also talked to fire and PD, I assume.
Oh, well, we had our initial conversation at our debriefing last year, but with my conversations with the staff, those conversations, I don't know about the police yet, but I know that services, the police and the fire department are the ones that initially, excuse me, made the suggestions of what to do for the road barriers and said that if we did that, they were okay with it.
Okay, and you've already sent it through.
It's gone through all the departments.
Police, fire.
No one's come back and said, no, this won't work. No, don't do that. So they've all said yes.
Okay.
And then Jake just said, let me know what you need. So
Okay, is he the one that's gonna be getting those
barricades.
barricades?
Yeah, they'll be different ones. We're not talking about the Meridian, which were the ones we use for, fizzle. I think he's looking at what they call the Jersey barriers is what they are. That's what he's, so they're the ones, if you think about, you fill them with water. So they kind of long plastic barriers.
Are they from the county as well?
I know they've got some at the county level, but they're actually relatively inexpensive. And I think Jake figured out a way to get them in his budget to get approved or to get purchased. So we just would have them generally available for us. And
So
then
this will be our own asset. then.
that's
And then-
where we are at the moment. Again, if that changes, I mean, we'll let you know.
I feel
but
like
that's
you
the
have to
plan.
order them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well,
There's not much time till Christmas on the
They're
square.
pretty common.
Okay.
Yeah, and
The Prime member?
it's, I don't know. And he fills them with his own water tank. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then maybe we could have those police signs that we have, the light up signs that we're gonna be having Christmas on the square and there'll be a parade.
Yes.
Maybe those can go up.
Yeah, definitely we'll have the digital signs up.
Okay.
I think the only other change or additional ask is a little bit more electric than we've used in the past. We've always asked for these two corners here, Vernon Granville and Columbus Granville, for the gazebo and for our food truck vendors. This year, we are looking to bring in more musical talent. And we were hoping that we could combine it with the DJ and the MC of the parade and maybe move the trailer, but logistically that just isn't going to work. So we're hoping to keep the trailer in front of the flower shop. We have our MC, we have our DJ, but then the staff has actually found some staging that we can use and have it right on the square. But I believe that would require us then to, well, we discussed either plugging into the building or plugging into, depends on the tree. We want to make sure the Christmas tree lighting, goes off without a hitch. So,
Do you need electric? Because do you need electric on that side?
Yes.
You can certainly use.
we're good to use that. Okay,
Absolutely.
thank you. But we will need something for our sound system here on the square. And I've spoken with our DJ. He is willing to do whatever it takes so that, we'll have a little bit of DJ music and a little bit of music from middle school, high school, quite a few organizations actually.
Really, are you gonna like their choirs or soloists or
Hi, a
is
little
it
bit of-
Damon?
A little, yes, a little bit of everything. I believe Genoa Township has an organization that wants to sing. We've got some of the youth vocalists that sang at the gazebo last year. They want to come back. Middle school, high school, adult. There's a lot. So we're trying to put all the pieces together. But if we can have a stage and sound for them, then it'll just be nice. There's nothing wrong with the DJ's music, but I think it would be really nice to break that up and have some
Like
live
Christmas, yeah.
live music. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you something else. Oh, are you using the town hall for anything?
Oh, good point. Actually, the chamber said, it's been difficult the past few years. We want to make sure that the city has a place to do what they want to do. And also people are coming in and maybe just warming up. And the Santa line is out of control. So we have asked Santa if he will sit at the gazebo as long as we have a space heater to keep him warm. He said that's fine. And that way the city can do what they want downstairs. That way we're not traipsing people up to the third floor. And the city doesn't have to worry about using the municipal building.
Is the city doing anything in the town hall?
It'll be, yeah.
Oh. I like that. I'm grateful that your Santa said that because I think I totally empathize. I don't like cold weather either, but I think it'll just be different, but also I think it'll be cool.
That first floor room has just been nuts in the
It's-
past years.
Yeah.
It's not
Get
that
around
big.
in, So,
No.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I feel like it's confusing because when there's a line out here and there's a line out here and you don't know which side to come in for
Yeah.
Santa, even though I think you've put signs. It's a big square. It's hard to.
I just had somebody tell me the other day there was no sign for Santa. I was like, yes, we always have signage. It's always down here to enter here and exit at this end.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of stimulation. There's a lot going on.
yep, I think if we have Santa in the gazebo, he's visible, the kids can gather around. The chamber is looking to put our reindeer and our Santa letters kind of next to that. So that way they can keep busy doing that while they're waiting to see Santa and have their picture. Plus you can enjoy the music or get hot
I
chocolate
can't
or
wait
whatever.
to see your agenda for like when you say like everything that's going on for it. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, me too. It's a little different, and one of our churches is doing a treasure hunt. So that's something that the chamber used to do, and so I'm excited that the church wants to do that, a little treasure hunt for the kids on the square. Anytime we can involve the businesses, that's a good thing, so, yeah.
I hope I
And
can
then we
make
just
it.
need perfect weather.
Yeah,
Right.
Daryl handles the weather.
Okay, Daryl.
Okay, anything from staff you want us to be aware of? Anything from the committee? All right, so what are we doing with this? Are we taking this to council? We're just gonna start right now. Okay.
Yeah, this was already one of the previously approved.
Okay. All right.
Events.
So she's good to go tell her board. Thanks for reaching out to and getting a sponsor like that. The whole city, the whole community is really gonna benefit from that, so thank you for that. Okay. America 250 Ohio Work Group update. Is that you, Ms.
So-
Queen?
Yes.
Okay.
So we are official. We are officially an America 250 Ohio community.
Should we take your picture with that?
Oh, it's okay. So we met for the first time, last week. It's been so long. And I just kind of wanted to give you an update because we had a really good turnout. And these are the organizations. Obviously we have Nancy at the Chamber, the Civic, the Lions, Kiwanis Community Library, the VFW, American Legion, Bright City Church, Sunbury Christian Church, the Historical Society, Big Walnut Music Boosters, Berkshire Township, and the Village of Galena have all stepped forward and want to be a part of the Big Walnut Sunbury America 250 Ohio celebration. We plan on having events going throughout the year, starting in January. The library already has some geared up. Everyone is really excited, so that just excites me even more. So now that we have the toolkit and everything, our next meeting, the Civic has a designer, and based off of this is the official emblem, they're going to create something for Sunbury. So, it's so small.
Okay.
I don't have a bigger one yet,
That's okay.
but we will. You want to?
Yeah, pass it on.
That will be something to recognize when, say, we're hosting an event. If it has that on it, it's part of the 250 celebration.
Oh,
So
very
instead of
cool.
just having one big event, which there'll be other events, which we're trying to decide on right now, that will happen on the square. But a lot of the communities around here have stuff in motion. So everybody's going to be helping everybody and cross-referencing resources.
So that group will know what's going on.
And we don't step on anybody's toes or overlap or reproduce something that somebody else is already doing. But we plan on having a landing page where the residents can go and see, well, America 250 started, what's going on in our city? What can we do this weekend? What can we do this week? As well as on the landing page, pictures and there are we can get merchandise, which I think Cindy is going to work on from the Civic, with Big Walnut Apparel, who has stepped in and said that if we needed to do that, they can also create a page for Sunbury's America 250 apparel. So I'm really excited. We meet this week again. We just got the media kit, so we can start going over that and how we want to start advertising.
Yeah, this is right in your wheelhouse. You like this kind of stuff. Awesome. Sounds very exciting.
Yeah, it's a good time. Great group of people. Everybody showed up and everybody's
Ready to jump in.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Any visitors? No visitors. Okay, looks like our next meeting will be on November 18th. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mr. Ayer?
Yes.
3